welcome to New as Practical Science. I'm Dr Woodroffe. Today I'm going to talk to you about the difference between elements, mixtures and compounds. And we are looking at today 3 different substances. The substances we are looking at are iron, I have some iron filings, sulfur, some iron sulfide, and then we will look at a mixture of iron and sulfur shortly. So the first thing I'd like to do is to show you the difference in properties between the iron, the sulfur and the iron sulfide. Now there's one property that you should all know about iron. Iron is a magnetic material. So what I'm going to do, I'll put my iron into a Petri dish, and just to show to you, there we are, there's our iron. I have a magnet. There's our magnet. I'm going to wrap the I'm going to wrap the magnet in a tissue, just because I know that the filings are going to coat themselves around the magnet. So here we go, here's our magnet, and you can see our magnet nicely attracts the iron. All right, the magnet has lifted it up, and you can see there's a nice magnetic field pattern because I've picked it up at one end of the magnet. All right, now try and get rid of all of that. So if I unwrap the tissue, there we go. So our iron should have gone back in there. All right, I'll do the same with our sulfur. So iron is magnetic. Let's see what happens with sulfur. Oopsie, some lumps in there. All right, now let's have a look. So I'll bring my magnet close to it. You notice I didn't wrap it in tissue. This is because I know it's not magnetic, and you can see the evidence for yourself. The sulfur is not attracted at all to the magnet. Okay, and let's look at our last substance here. We have iron sulfide. All right, you can see, first of all, how different it is. We've got a brown solid here. All right, so our iron metal was a kind of a grey, black, silvery solid. Our sulfur is a nice, bright yellow solid, and our iron sulfide is a brown, this almost looks like mud solid. All right, now let's see what happens with a magnet. No, nothing happens there. So iron sulfide, all right, is not magnetic. So even though the iron and sulfur have come together, all right, to make the iron sulfide, is not magnetic. So again, this is another bit of evidence to show that, you know, compounds and elements have different properties. And here you can see that these 3 substances have got different properties. There are other things that you can test to see the differences as well. In the last video, I burnt oxygen and magnesium, tested them with a circuit to see which one conducted electricity. And the magnesium conducted electricity, the oxygen didn't, and neither did the magnesium oxide. And we could do the similar sort of things with the iron, the sulfur, and the iron sulfide. Now, the other thing I want to show you is the difference between a compound and a mixture, all right? So I'm going to use these little models. You can see I've put them here. These little balls here, they represent the iron. These little balls here, they represent the sulfur. And you can see they've been combined together to make iron sulfide, and they look like that. Okay, so we've got our iron, our sulfur coming together to make iron sulfide. All right. Now, it's very hard for me to try and separate the iron and the sulfur from each other in a compound. All right. These have made a chemical bond between each other. So there's a chemical bond linking the sulfur, the yellow sulfur, with the black iron, and a lot of energy is needed to separate those. All right. Now, in a mixture, this isn't the same. All right. In a mixture, the 2 different elements are easy to separate, and I'll show you that now. All right. So I'm going to get my going to get my Petri dish. I've already put some sulfur in there. I'm going to tip my iron in there. I'll tip some more iron in so we've got about the same amount. Put the lid on. I'll give it a little mix. All right. So you can see, oh, there's a big lump of sulfur there. You can see our iron and sulfur has made a nice mixture there. And I have done a little representation of our iron and sulfur mixture here in this beaker with our yellow and black balls there. So let's see. All right, this is a mixture, this is our compound. All right, I'm going to take my magnet, and I've told you that it's very hard to separate the elements in the compound, and you can see I can't separate. I try and take my wrapped magnet to the iron sulfide, nothing happens. But if I take my wrapped magnet to the iron and sulfur, I bet you can guess what's going to happen, all right? We know that the sulfur is not magnetic, but the iron is. You can see I can separate the iron out fairly easily by just stroking the magnet around the mixture. And you can see there's all the iron. I've got most of it out. Try and get the rest of it. There's a little bit of sulfur on there, but look how easy that was to do compared to trying to break up a compound. Okay, so see if I can get rid of the iron filings without losing them. Unwrap my tissue. There we go, and there's our magnet, nice and clean. So I hope that helps you understand the differences between compounds, mixtures and elements, okay? Compounds, in a compound it's hard to separate the individual atoms or elements. In a mixture, it's easier to separate. And in this example, you can see a magnet was used to separate the iron from the sulfur in an iron and sulfur mixture. There are other methods of separating mixtures which you need to know about, and please look at the later videos. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope it helped you learn everything. Okay, good, thank you.